WePay returned to its flagship showcase with the first WeDay since the COVID-19 pandemic, held at the Hyatt Regency in Port of Spain. The company unveiled major expansions including WeLoan, WeTravel, a new telecommunications division, and the National Payment Integration Company of Trinidad and Tobago, aimed at streamlining digital and government payments across the region.
So for us, it was a natural next steps to provide value. Let's provide digital services for government with the N. We did it in Jamaica, we did it in Grenada, did it in Ghana, and now with the National Payment Company of Trinidad and Tobago, we're about to do it in Trinidad. Those pillars together would now enable the Caribbean to play on the global stage.
Founder and CEO of WePay Group, Aldwin Wayne, said the new services aim to make digital finance more accessible, simplifying everyday transactions and supporting individuals and businesses outside the traditional banking system. WePay's Chief Marketing Officer, Kibwe McGann, added that it all starts with payments.
When a small business finally accepts digital payments, that is dignity. When a public office goes cashless, that is progress.
Another key announcement was the creation of the National Payment Integration Company of Trinidad and Tobago, designed to unify public sector payments and give citizens faster, more consistent access to government services. Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development, Kennedy Swaratsing, noted that progress has been slowed by limited technology adoption, highlighting the need for change.
Even now, you still have people who are resistant to allowing the technology to be much more ubiquitous with the behaviors that we have. So for me, the biggest impediment or the single thing I would want to see is greater adoption of the technology into the ordinary things we do.
Minister of Public Administration and Artificial Intelligence, Dominic Smith, highlighted the importance of building strong digital infrastructure as government services continue to modernize. He noted that WePay's new services support the government's vision of streamlining public service processes.
We envision that through the use of technology and a lot of what you're saying there, it will, one, provide cost savings to the government. That's two. Provide more efficient ways of doing repetitive tasks that now can be, shorter lead time, shorter transaction costs, which again redounds to the benefit of the citizen. And of course, digitize as much as possible any service that the public can now interface with and do so in an equitable manner.
And the private sector responded positively, particularly to the introduction of WeLoan. Group CEO at First Citizens Group Financial Holdings, Jason Julian, said this could help small businesses and independent workers access capital quickly without the hurdles of conventional banking.
It has to be the customer experience, and improving the customer experience has to be the yardstick that we use. Even if the old system used to work, is it the best way to do it?
Across all the announcements, WePay presented a unified vision of a Caribbean where financial services, travel, and government transactions are increasingly integrated and where digital systems play a larger role in everyday life. Carrie Roberts, TTT News.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakha Kodash. Double honor unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000 men. Digital payment, AI, and digitalization is being heavily pushed. All right, digital payment, AI, and digitalization is being heavily pushed. And they just this more and more time goes on, the heavily quicker things are coming in, prophecies coming in. All right, you see now they're pushing WePay in Trinidad, WeTravel, WeLoan, all about digitalization, and the guy said it's what is the natural next steps after the Plan D, which is the revelation of the meta too, because they're showing you plain, that hey, this is the agenda of the global banking elite. This is the new world order plan. This is the next steps of the banking elite that these jakes be exercising. And this video comes on the heels of the last video I did, where the name of that video was among my people I found wicked men. Right, these wicked ass sheiks be pushing this shit. Because why? They're being paid off. They took the bag. A lot of them into these secret societies and shit. Alright? So it's proven they're no good. Alright? The Lord had to take them out. It says the book of Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, right? Who in the heavens right now? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He's the one who reaping the benefits right now. He on top. So it says, rejoice ye heavens, and ye that what? That dwell in them, that live in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, right? And of the sea, right? The people of the earth, right? Jake number 1. It says, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. Because all this digitalization, digital payment, AI, is all for what? Total control. Because it's all going to culminate, and ultimately result in, you being implanted with the MOTB. Alright, and fair use, this video is only for educational purposes only. I'm not getting any monetary value out of this. It's only teaching. It's only for teaching purposes. Copyright is claimed in 1976. Right? So this is what it is. At the end of the day, these devils going to push this because what? They know they have a short time. They know that, Yahweh Shai is coming back. So they want to establish the kingdom, the kingdom where they believe that they're going to continue reigning. The fourth industrial revolution. Right? You had NIDS, the National Identification System, roll out. You have e-identity in Trinidad that they're going to roll out. You had the one in Grenada, and they say, the government is where they're really targeting. Why? Because the government is the slowest area. The government in Trinidad and Tobago, they're still very cash-based. Alright, but when they roll this out, what everything become digitalized, you know what's going to happen next. Alright? The private companies, they're going to push. They're already pushing with the cashless and digitalization. So what do you think going to happen? Something the guy said there, he said, but it all starts with payment, which is money. Right? You know why? Because the scripture says this. Ecclesiastes, I believe it's 11. Ecclesiastes 11 and 19. Or 19 and 11, one of them. Ecclesiastes, let me see if I can find this. Let's bear with me a moment here. Money answereth all things. 10 and 19, Salakia. Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. It says what? A feast is made for laughter. Right? A feast is made for laughter. And wine maketh merry. Right? A feast is made for laughter. And wine maketh merry. Right? Merry maketh happy. Right? But money answereth all things. Right? So food, clothing, whatnot. Alright? Wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. Alright? So they know what is your defense, so they're going to target your defense. Most Jake defense is only money. Right? But wisdom is the true defense. Because wisdom giveth life to those that have it. Alright? You're not going to go and take that MOTB. Alright? That RFID micro chip. So they know exactly what they're doing. And what other scripture talks about savings, because they're going to sell this thing, as you just heard in the video, as if it's something so great. It's going to help cost savings, more efficient way of doing, repetitive tasks. But repetitive tasks is what Jake be doing. So what I'm telling you, these Jakes not going to understand that you're going to lose your job. You're about to lose your job. All right, you're about to lose it. In fact, before that, let's get this. Let's get Ecclesiastes 12. All right. This is what's going to happen. Ecclesiastes 12 and 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. The job's going to cease because they are few. And those that look out the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So it's going to happen. You're not going to have any job to go to. You're going to have to rely on universal basic income. Because your physical money is going to be cast out in the streets according to Ezekiel, the 7th chapter, from around the 18th verse on down. Going to be cast out in the streets. Alright? You're going to have to cast it out because it's going to be worthless. So you're not going to have any defense there. So these things are heavy. This ain't no joke. This ain't no joke. All right. It says, wow. It says also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and the fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, which is the truth, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, right? You're going to have famine, etc. And desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. So it's not going to be nice. So they're selling you this shit, but it's not going to be nice. There's nothing equitable about it. You talk about improving customer experience. You know, customer experience, that's bullshit. All right? But anyway, we were talking about payments. And, you know, they said it's all about payments, right? So this where it's all about, right? Revelation 13 and 16, it says, and he calls it all, both small and rich. In fact, let's read from verse 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. The image of the beast is this technological system. And, right, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right? Worship the technology. All right? And how are you going to worship that beast? By taking part in the devil's system, by accepting his mark. All right? Verse 16 says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to what? To receive a mark. Right? In their right hand or in their foreheads, and basically in either hand or your foreheads. Right? Verse 17 says, and that no man might buy or sell, what? No man might buy or sell. Didn't he talk about payments? Right? When you buy, you don't have to pay. Right? Save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So this is what it's all about. And right now what they're doing is they're backing you into a corner and setting you up for that mark. Alright, that's what they're doing. So I hope you all understand. That's the reason why they're pushing digital payment, AI, and digitalization. Alright, so with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. Till the next time, Shalom, Wa Harag Babal.